Kakuma refugee camp and Kalobeyei settlement in Turkana County host close to half of Kenya's total refugee population that has now crossed the 500,000 mark. Local authorities say the continued influx has come with challenges over essential resources like water and energy.
We are on marginal land, and yet we host so large population, competing with the host community who also number 240,000. Another challenge we have experienced is the fuel. We used to supply firewood and it has been withdrawn. So increasingly they are venturing out into the host community areas to fetch firewood, and at times it triggers conflict. We also have had erosion and degradation of environment.
According to Dr. Francis Ekiru, who heads the Food and Agriculture Organization based in Kakuma, the challenges extend beyond resources.
In the refugee settings, access to food is a challenge because households depend on rations given by humanitarian agencies. These rations are not complete and they don't come with vegetables. So, and refugees do not have money to go to the market to buy vegetables. Malnutrition is a problem, and malnutrition cases are so rampant.
An innovative project anchored in the reuse of grey water from kitchens, bathrooms and community watering points, as well as improved biomass cookstoves, is changing lives of refugees and host communities in Turkana. C4 Aircraft's research scientist in bioenergy, Mary Njenga, explains.
In resource recovery and reuse in refugee context, we are building capacity on recovering grey water and plant nutrients for home, gardening and agroforestry, including use of biochar and recovering cooking energy from organic residues.
And as UMI's senior researcher in economic, Dr. Solomi Gebres-Gaba explains, the main metrics of the project go beyond the size of the home gardens.
Scaling resource recovery and reuse in the context of refugees, we are considering the number of participating households. That is, for example, as opposed to the size of kitchen gardens or home gardens, we are considering the number of households who are participating in the capacity building activities and who are also adapting and benefiting from these innovations.
In the project, refugees and host community members are trained to reuse grey water for home gardening as part of boosting their self-reliance, as well as improved food and nutritional security. It also involves growing of multipurpose trees and use of cleaner biomass cooking fuel, as well as improved cookstoves. At the Kalobeyei refugee settlement, an offshoot of the Kakuma refugee camp, which hosts more than 200,000 refugees, we meet Msabimana Divon, a refugee from Burundi who is among the beneficiaries of the RRR project.
Kitu cha kwanza inatokana kwa mfereji, watu wanashota maji, alafu maji inaingia kwa shimo yenye nilichimba, alafu nachukua hiyo maji uchafu mahali nilichimba na ileta na mwanga kwa mboga. Kuhusu hiyo manyoa, nawekanga hiyo mavi ya mbuzi na uchafu zingine kama mifupa hivi, nyasi na makaa, na iwekelea kwa shamba. Si fikiriangi mafikirio ya kusema pesa natoa wapi ya kununua mboga. Nikitaka mboga nakuja nachuna mboga naenda napiga. Na mboga yangu inanisaidia sana. Ikimea ikikuwa kubwa nachunanga na uzianga majirani, na uzianga kuna wenye wako kwa soko wanauzanga mboga, wanakujanga kuniuliza kama niko na mboga ya kuuza, na wachumia wanapeleka kuuza. Inanisaidia kimaisha, yani ni muhimu sana kwa mimi kupanda mboga.
Sasa tuende kwa maji. Her neighbor Florida Minami has also ventured into home gardening, and she says she has improved income as well as better nutrition from her farm.
Ubumenyi mfise no kuko banyigishije kurima nkamenya gushiramo umwavu kandi ukatuma utakaliramba kandi nkambona ndabifisemwo akanyungu ko kurya no kwambara kandi bakongera nyene bakaba babishima yuko nanje nabigishije.
The story is not any different at the Kakuma refugee camp, where we meet Linet Saidi.
Mimi nafanya shamba, naotesha vishusha, matembele, mchicha na madongo muda mwingine naweka. Ile maji ambayo nimeoshea vyombo ama nimeoshea nguo, wametuambia tunaweka majivu kwa sababu ivunje ile nguvu ya sabuni, alafu unaweka kwa shamba, sio shida. Saa hii siwezi kununua matembele, siwezi kununua vishusha, siwezi kununua mchicha. Ile yenye nahitaji tu kukula iko kwa shamba yangu, naenda nachukua napika. Vile sijaanza hiyo, nimekuwa tu na mwaga. Nilikuwa sijui kama unaweza mwagia kwa shamba. Nimekuwa tu na mwaga tu chini naenda.
For some of the refugees, the kitchen garden has been the beginning of other businesses. The host community has also not been left behind.
Mboka tunapanda kila aina mboka ambayo tunaipata, ili tulipatiwa hii kunde na hii sukuma na spinach pia tunapanda kwa hii shamba. Hii kitu inaitwa dodo pia kidogo tunapata, na kuna mamiti aina nyingi ambayo ya maembe na machungwa tumeanza kupanda hapa, na ndizi ndio hizi tumeanza kupanda hapa hivi. Sasa tunaonelea kupika miaka zingine hii shamba itakuwa kubwa na tutazidi kuongeza.
Kwa upande ya mboka tumebadilisha maisha ya mboka. Kama na ukienda kubeba makuni huko, huwezi kumbuka kununua mboka. Unakuja unachuna hapa kidogo ndio watoto wakulie ugali. Huko kwa grupu nyingine, hiyo grupu natakuwa na pesa ndio ufanye kidogo upate kwenye unapeleka mtoto kwa shule.
According to Eliaf Muhia, who heads the economic recovery team from the Danish Refugee Council in Kakuma and Kalobeye, the transfer of knowledge to the refugees on how they can sustain kitchen gardens is transformative.
Provision of necessary skills and knowledge is key to sustainable development, because that's the starting point. For them to be able to know that there is potential for them to be able to carry on with productions, for them to be able to easily access vegetables, for them to be able to easily produce their fuel for cooking, and also to be able to improve their stoves, the stove, and by this they then be able to cut the cost of fuel.
Nauzanga shilingi 5 na 10 yoyote unataka na kuuzia.
Other stakeholders share similar sentiments.
In order to provide for livelihoods and nutrition of these populations, we need projects that focus on resource recovery and reuse of available resources. We need innovative projects that plant trees and plant vegetables to ensure food security and livelihoods for the populations affected.
There is a lot of knowledge required. There is a lot of skills required. So these innovations are good, but there is need to integrate them into the plan of action of every sector, so that during planning, during execution of agricultural interventions, they form part of the models to improve the socio-economic well-being of the populations.
From the very beginning, the RRR project was planned as a gender-inclusive project. What that meant was that we tried to think conclusively about all the gender implications of our work from the design stage onward. One of the things we noticed immediately was that the adults in the prime of life were disproportionately women. So the challenge for us was, how did we make food insecurity and energy poverty alleviation projects available to women in the prime of life who have heavy care work responsibilities?
RRR offers more than kitchen gardens. Beneficiaries are skilled to use organic residues to make fuel briquettes and improved biomass cook stoves.
Zamani mimi nachukua pesa naenda nanunua makaa, naenda navuta miti kuni, sababu hiyo mimi najua kutenganisha, lakini sasa mimi najua kutenganisha hiyo, hakuna napeleka pesa tena kwa kuni ama kwa hiyo
With limited spaces at the refugee camps, the UN Habitat's local economic development expert David Kitenge says the planning for the houses in the camp has provided spaces for home gardening and decentralized cooking energy production.
We've kept a space for about 80 by 20 meters to support urban agriculture. Because of the potential population growth of the settlement, we had thought that we'll need to promote sustainable livelihoods and self-reliance. And one of the things that we thought could be able to promote this is the ability of people to organize themselves within the compound level to do urban agriculture.
RRR has a target to reach 3,600 households directly and 200,000 people indirectly during the current project. Stakeholders believe scaling up the initiatives will be a key self-reliance strategy for the refugees whose numbers continue to swell in the drought-stricken Turkana County. There are plans to reach thousands more in other refugee settlements in Africa to give refugees and host communities both nutritional and financial freedom while conserving the fragile environment.